Let's maul in the Central Committee. Let's cringe in the Central Committee. Let's bog in the Central Committee right now.
We're going to get it started off right away with some politics. What do you know, chat? The centrists are at it again. So, I'm sure most of you who are here remember Nina Turner. She was one of Bernie Sanders' delegates. And not just delegates, one of Bernie Sanders' senior advisors, one of his main surrogates on the campaign trail. And kind of one of those people. Let's just start it off.
You know, sometimes
I want to show you off. Let's start it off with this. Here's a fan. I think this is just a fan-made video of Nina Turner. Check this out.
You know, sometimes black women, sometimes we are accused of, you know, when they want to slam you and slander you, being called angry. We can't be aggressive or assertive. We angry. We can't be determined. We angry. Well, sisters and brothers, this morning, I am here to say to you that my name is Nina Turner, and I'm an angry-ass black woman. I'm mad. I'm mad about a whole lot of stuff. Because if you ain't mad about something, then, baby, you are not awake. With these hands, we will rise up. I'm mad that we gotta beg people in power to know that the wages of everyday people are not keeping up with inflation. I'm mad as hell that our young people have to graduate with a degree in one hand and debt in the other, over $1 trillion worth of debt. I'm mad as hell that we gotta beg people to understand that we must protect Mother Earth to have anything. Oh yeah, I'm mad that mamas and daddies and grandmamas have to worry about whether or not their babies can walk the streets in America. We got too much on the line. Too much on the line to sit idly by. Too much on the line. Too much on the line. But I want us to channel this anger. This is important. Channel the anger and the passion that we have into action. I'm mad that we are not doing enough in this country to shore up. And guess what? We taking applications. Everybody can be an angry black woman. Join me, y'all.
And so we have Nina Turner. And so what's happening? The number 3 House Democrat steps in an Ohio race to head off a Sanders acolyte. The decision by Representative James Clyburn to oppose an outspoken ally of Senator Bernie Sanders in a special election in Cleveland highlights the generational and ideological gulf in the Democratic Party. Now, I don't know if this is just me, but how can you manage to avoid the person being blocked in your headline and subheadline? You have Sanders acolyte in the headline, and then you do the same thing again? Shouldn't it say to oppose Nina Turner? Isn't this just plain not? It's not even echo. Like, I've never ever. This is an editor saying, don't say Nina Turner. Because you would just say Nina Turner. Sanders acolyte does it. You don't need to say Sanders acolyte again. Decision by Representative James Clyburn to oppose Nina Turner. Why is she not? This is. So what's happening here? What's happening here? They are trying to keep her name recognition down. What's the number 3 House Democrat? It refers to the leadership. It refers to the leadership. And so this is something that we've talked about a lot on this stream. And why I am not a fan of the leadership in the Democratic Party. Because they are disgusting. And I chose a picture with James Clyburn with him having Ilhan Omar in it. And Nina, like, this is manufactured consent right off the bat. It implies that he made this announcement with Ilhan Omar's support, with Nancy Pelosi's support. Great photo. Great piece of propaganda. You may not have noticed that, but your brain did. Of course he has Pelosi's support, but not outspoken support. She's a coward. Early last year, as Bernie Sanders was surging through the first Democratic primary presidential races, Representative James E. Clyburn of South Carolina, a kingmaker in his state, stepped into the endorsed Joseph R. Biden before the primary there, helping vault the former vice president to the nomination. On Tuesday, Mr. Clyburn, the number 3 House Democrat, took aim at one of Sanders' most outspoken acolytes, Nina Turner, a hero of the left who was surging in her campaign in Ohio to claim the Cleveland-based congressional seat vacated by the housing secretary, Marcia L. Fudge. In a rare intervention into a party primary, Mr. Clyburn, a veteran lawmaker and highest-ranking member of the black member of Congress, endorsed Shontel Brown, Ms. Turner's leading opponent. He said his decision to back Ms. Brown, the chairwoman of the Cuyahoga County Democratic Party, was not about Mr. Sanders or even Ms. Turner, who remains the favorite before the contest on August 3rd in the heavily Democratic district. But he took a swipe at what he called sloganeering of the party's left flank, which has risen to power with calls for Medicare for all, abolish ICE, and defund the police. So now you actually see what's also happening. They are trying to pollute Medicare for all with more controversial. So this is something that Bernie Sanders and progressive Democrats and leftist Democrats explicitly run on. This abolish ISIS, because ISIS was started by George W. Bush. It's not exactly a fucking long-term organization, and it's fascistic. Can you imagine people being attacked for saying abolish the Gestapo? Well, the Gestapo is a law enforcement organization, sir. How dare you? Don't you support our law enforcement? It was started by Hitler. Maybe we could afford to do that. Maybe we could abolish something that's like 10 years old and has been problematic and shitty the whole entire time it's been there. Maybe we should get rid of it. It doesn't actually do anything positive, and it's a huge waste of money. Maybe get rid of that thing. I don't know. Nah. And defund the police. So here's what they're doing. So this is the manufacture of consent. Try to get New York Times readers to associate people supporting Medicare for all with more controversial things like defund the police. Which, again, this is fucking ridiculous. This is totally common sense. New York City spends more on the NYPD than many countries' militaries. What I try to do is demonstrate by precept an example how we are to proceed as a party. When I spoke out against sloganeering like burn baby burn in the 60s and defund the police, which I think is cutting the throats of the party, I know exactly where my constituents are. They are against that, and I'm against that. There was sloganeering all over the civil rights movement. This is like actually gross, man. What the fuck? What he's saying is, by the way, slogans are very useful to pull together your base. This is, I want to attack my base again. The special election in Cleveland is highlighting the vast generational divide and ideological gulf that the Democratic Party faces as the entire House leadership heads towards the sunset. Mr. Clyburn, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the House Majority Leader, Representative Steny Hoyer, are all octogenarians, leading an increasingly youthful, diverse, and restive caucus. Ms. Pelosi even agreed to vacate her position after this Congress, and the next year will be an ideological battle over who will succeed her. Ms. Brown has the backing of the Democratic establishment, including not only Mr. Clyburn, but also Hillary Clinton, Richard Cordray, a former Ohio Attorney General who got smoked when he ran for governor, Representative Joyce Betty of Ohio, the chairwoman of the Congressional Black Caucus, and moderate Democrats like Representative Josh Gottomer of New Jersey and David Tron of Maryland. Holy shit. Josh Gadamer. Oh my God. He's practically a Republican. Holy shit. Gadamer, who has served in Congress since 2007, voted with President Donald Trump nearly 77% of the time. Ms. Turner, who has the endorsements of much of the House Progressive Caucus, including the so-called Squad. By the way, this district, chat, is the 14th most Democratic district in the House. And this is what they're doing. And then, you know, this is not, we're going to get into this more. A prominent surrogate for Mr. Sanders in 2016 and national co-chairwoman for his campaign in 2020. She has never minced word about what she calls corporate Democrats. She has declined to say whether she voted for Clinton in 2016, and before Election Day in November, she suggested the choice between Donald J. Trump and Mr. Biden was the choice between a full bowl of excrement and half a bowl. At an event last week, Ms. Turner sat beside the rapper Killer Mike, another supporter of Mr. Sanders, as he suggested that Mr. Clyburn sold out cheap to Mr. Biden, delivering his endorsement in exchange for making Juneteenth into a federal holiday. To this day, some Democrats say Ms. Turner's hostility cost Mrs. Clinton key votes on the left in swing states that decide. Wow. This is propaganda. Holy shit, dude. You're just going to say some Democrats say, and you're going to offer no support for it and no quote. That is absolutely propaganda and manufacturer consent. They just put an editorial comment into the straight news story without a quote or a source or anything. The old Trump, many people are saying, chat. In an interview Tuesday, Ms. Turner blanched at any notion of disloyalty to the party for which she has served as Cleveland City Councilwoman, a state senator, the Democratic nominee for Secretary of State, and a two-time convention delegate for Barack Obama. I wish people were more concerned about the suffering that I have enumerated than the colorful words that I have used, she said. Mr. Clyburn said colorful words did not factor into his endorsement, though an advertisement to be running on Wednesday, he listed the names of past black members of Congress who represented Ohio and said they have been affected because they focused on you, not on themselves. Nobody knows who Clyburn is. Black people, I'm sorry, black people, white people, any people in Ohio don't know who Clyburn is. Now, in his state, where he's got a alliance with Republicans to gerrymander his state to make his state a safe seat for Democrats, where he gets money from corporate Republicans so he can serve the interests of the right wing and make sure that Democrats are underrepresented in his state. Absolutely, he's well connected. Everybody knows that all the corporate money flows through him in South Carolina. But as far as the fucking country, no one gives a shit about this guy. Both Miss Turner and Miss Brown are black, as is Miss Fudge, whom Mr. Clyburn aggressively promoted to lead the agricultural department before Mr. Biden selected her as housing secretary. As the leader of this party, I'm truly skilled at building bridges and doing it without attacking people or insulting them, she said Tuesday. If sent to Washington, she added, I won't have to start with a long letter of apology. Ms. Turner has a ready answer for that, pointing to the blistering attack Kamala Harris, then a senator, directed at Mr. Biden during one of the presidential debates when she said his policies had exacerbated racial injustice. If those two could be side by side now, then surely a president and I could come together, she said, though she added that her campaign is not about loyalty to any one person. She's been trying to make amends, commending Biden administration for its pandemic response, its huge coronavirus aid package, and its social policy proposals, while saying Democrats need to go further on student debt forgiveness, $15 an hour minimum wage, and climate change. And ultimately, ideology, not style, is the biggest issue confronting the Democratic Party. These generational shifts are absolutely a theme throughout the caucus across a lot of different issues, AOC says. That's why I think Nina's groundswell is exciting, because it's not any one person's endorsement. It's really the sum of everything that we've seen. Now, chat, this is a coordinated plan. Now, do you guys know who this is? I've talked about him before as the number one threat to the left in Congress. Do you know who this is? Who is this? I've called him the number one threat in Congress. We got Fudge35, longtime viewer. Correct. Hakeem Jeffries. He, after AOC and the left started rising in New York, the centrists realized that they needed to pick someone who was younger to take up their mantle, and they found Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries is the ultimate machine politician. And he's not Team Blue. No. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. He is a centrist corporate machine. Now, he said he gestures towards progressive policy while doing everything he can behind the scenes to defeat the left and targeting AOC. Complete trash. House Dems launch PAC to fight progressive primary challengers. Its founders are among the top fundraisers from corporate PACs and the House Democratic Caucus. Progressive Democrats notched a couple more primary wins last cycle in U.S. House contests, with Representatives Jamal Bowman of New York and Cori Bush of Missouri defeating longtime incumbents. Now, 3 of the most corporation-friendly House Democrats have launched a Team Blue PAC to defend incumbents from progressive primary challengers, including 2 candidates who have been endorsed by Justice Democrats. Are they more afraid of Nina Turner than they were of Bernie Sanders? No. But they're scared of her. They're scared of AOC. They're scared of Ilhan Omar. They're scared of Rashida Tlaib. They're scared of all of the squad members because they are trying to keep the Democratic Party corporate. They're basically treating progressives like a completely different party. Correct. Well, not really. They know how to play progressives like a fiddle. 3 of the most corporation-friendly House Democrats have launched Team Blue PAC to defend incumbents from progressive primary challengers. The 3 representatives behind the new PAC are Hakeem Jeffries, Josh Gottenheimer, and Terry Sewell of Alabama. So these people are scum. Just the worst of the worst. And fully just vile right-wing liars. Gottheimer has to be target numero uno. He's so unlikable and his policies are so right-wing. Josh of the centrist Problem Solvers Caucus and Terry Sewell of Alabama, former vice chair of the moderate New Democrat Coalition and a member of the Congressional Black Caucus. The PAC's goal is to bolster protection efforts for incumbents in safe Democratic districts by raising and spending money on their behalf, stepping in for the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, which formally and informally engages in primaries, but mostly spends on races in competitive districts. This is another way for Wall Street and corporations to funnel hundreds of thousands of dollars to incumbents just to stop the emergence of a new generation of progressive working-class leadership in the Democratic Party, said Waleed Shahid, a spokesperson for the Justice Democrats. But we've overcome being outspent in nearly every primary before through small dollar donors and grassroots organizing. Team Blue's PAC's 3 founders were the top 13 corporate PAC money recipients among all House Democrats in the 2020 election cycle, according to Open Secrets. Sewell's more than $1.6 million raised from corporate PACs places her 7th among House Democrats, while Gottheimer's 1.3 puts him 11th, and Jeffries, with nearly the same amount, comes in at 13th. The vast majority of Sewell's fundraising raised last cycle, almost 81.6%, came from PAC contributions, according to Open Secrets, making her the most PAC-reliant House candidate. 94% of Sewell's 2020 PAC haul came from those affiliated with corporations. Jeffries brought in the 4th in most in donations during overall among House Democrats in 2020. The 2 members the PAC plans to defend, according to NBC News, are Rep. Danny Davis of Illinois and Rep. Carolyn Maloney of New York, who are facing a primary challenge from a candidate backed by Justice Democrats. Gun violence prevention and Medicare for All advocate Keena Collins is challenging Davis, and nonprofit leader Rana Abdul Hamid is challenging Maloney. The upcoming contest in Illinois' 7th Congressional District, including parts of west side of Chicago, challenger Collins pointed out earlier this month to David's reliance on corporate PACs, which gave him almost 74% of his PAC contributions last cycle, compared to about 20% from labor. Davis's top donor industry in the 2020 cycle was insurance, with $51,000 given, and with $22,500 coming from pharmaceutical industry PACs. In the race in New York's 12th congressional district, including parts of New York City like east side of Manhattan, human rights activist and challenger Rana Abdul Hamid introduced her bid in April with a video on economic inequality. Last cycle, Maloney's top donor industry during his campaign and leadership was securities and investment, with $325,000 contributed by PACs and employees, followed by real estate with $295,000 and insurance with $223,000. PACs in the finance, insurance, and real estate sector accounted for just shy of half of Maloney's total PAC funding raised in the 2020 cycle, and corporate PACs made up 72% of her PAC contributions last cycle, compared to 18% from labor. Maloney, who is a member of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, fake member, defeated primary challenger Surjai Patel last year by around 3,250 votes, a few percentage points over the 94,000 votes cast. We almost got her, chat. We almost got her. Rep. Sewell is the vice chair for outreach of the New Democrat Coalition, which counts 95 pro-business House Democrats who seek to shift the party away from progressive economic policies. The coalition has PAC that raises millions of dollars in contributions each cycle from hundreds of major Hill donors, including the PACs of J.P. Morgan Chase, ExxonMobil, Goldman Sachs, and Pfizer. Last cycle, the New Democratic Coalition's PAC raised over $3.2 million and spent $2.8 million, with some 762,300 of that sent to House Democratic candidates. Gottheimer, a co-chair of the Problem Solvers Caucus, recently joined two other House Democrats in threatening to block the Biden administration's infrastructure plan unless a tax break that overwhelmingly benefits the top 5% of income earners was added to the package. Sludge found that the Problem Solvers Caucus set up 4 joint fundraising committees last cycle that took a total of more than $3.6 million in contributions from corporate executives and their spouses. House lawmakers routinely pay their party's dues in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, much of it raised from business PACs and trade associations to earn influence over legislative decision-making. Davis's position as chair of the Worker and Family Support Subcommittee of the powerful House Ways and Means Committee meant that his dues to the party reached $300,000 last cycle, according to an internal party document published by The Intercept. Rep. Jeffries in House leadership was pegged to kick in $575,000 in party taxes, and Gottheimer was tasked with bringing in $250,000 for the party. According to the group's formation filing with the FEC, its treasurer is Chris Koob, a Democratic accountant and compliance professional who was formerly treasurer of Persist PAC, a super PAC that supported Senator Elizabeth Warren's presidential campaign. And so, oh, by the way, that was after Elizabeth Warren originally said she would never take corporate PAC money and would never accept the support of super PACs. And then once it was clear that she was running out of money and she wasn't going to be able to do any advertising because of her terrible performances, she changed her mind and accepted a couple $1 million from a super PAC. So if anybody has any doubts that Elizabeth Warren was working with the centrists to block Bernie Sanders, and the reason why she stayed in was to block him from getting the nomination, there it is. There it is. There it is. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. So this, and by the way, chat, I don't want you to feel discouraged. I just want you to understand that the centrists hate leftists more than fascists. And there was a response to this. There was a response to this that you should probably know. Let me show you this 1 second. Nina Turner's Ohio 11th campaign, which raised $100,000 in the wake of Hillary's endorsement, says it did it again in the wake of the Clyburn endorsement last night. When we saw overnight was people at the Grassroots rallying to support Nina Turner against corporate interests. So Nina Turner, and in case you were wondering, chat, this is not a Cenk Uygur situation. This is where Nina Turner has big roots in that district. And this is why the Democrats are starting. They have a month. They have a month to try to chip away this. So Nina Turner is going to have the most money. Nina Turner is going to have the most dedicated volunteers. Nina Turner is going to have the most starting name recognition. And she comes from that community. But it's going to get closer because the Democrats and the DNC are going to use big names to campaign for Brown. I want you to understand that they want Bernie Sanders, AOC, all leftists to lose. And they're going to do, if Nina Turner gets in, it's fucking hopeless. Centrists hate leftists so much because they desperately want and need to have a moral high ground without actual morals. They want to use their position to whip voters against the right, but not actually offer any change. Exactly. We do politics here every morning starting at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. You can watch us here on Twitch. We're the morning guy, the morning politics guy, Politics Frogs in every single day, same time, 10 a.m., day in, day out. And we carry you through your morning and early afternoon politics needs. And if you need more, Mike from PA, we have a YouTube channel. We talked about Suburbs, the My Pillow guy, Ted Cruz. We talked about DSA. Amazing. Making fun of Tim Pool. Amazing. Look at all of these amazing videos. Get in there, watch them. We have me on Twitter. You got to follow me on Twitter, chat. I'm at 20,614 subs. That means I got like 40 followers on Twitter in the last day. You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Go follow us on Twitter. And of course, join the Discord, where we have an incredible community of left-wing streamers. We have left-wing community. We talk about the stream. We talk about politics. There's gaming content. It's a really awesome, supportive place. Direct action, mutual aid. And you can just let off some steam. And also, you can help produce the show. One of the things I do is I look at the links that are put into the news content suggestions chat room on the Discord. Join the Discord, come hang out, and maybe what you want me to talk about will be part of the next show.